This is the first part of a series of 3 elaborating on human emotions and natural laws. And although issues are quite complex, as it is often the case, solutions are quite simple.
From the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, everything in the universe obeys the laws of physics, where our brains are made of the same atoms or molecules as the rest of the universe. So could we take this theory further and ask whether consciousness could be part of the underlying fabric of the universe? The giant brain theory is even more compelling now that we know our universe fabric grows like a brain in addition to being conscious.
Could mere mathematics create an entire universe? In 1980, the mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot publicized a simple formula: Z maps to Z squared plus C. But you don't apply it only once. You take the result and feed it back into the formula. Mandelbrot gave them the name fractals.
In our universe, and many physicists have acknowledged that already, energy and matter are not only holographic but fractal. For the inquiring minds, the holographic universe presupposes that we are living in a simulated reality, that our world is nothing more than a detailed illusion, possibly manifested by a cosmic mind. Not to confuse with the computer simulation theory here. Although the holographic hypothesis fits the idea that life unfolds like a dream, the goal of this presentation is to tackle the fractal aspect of human perceptions, which is at the origin of individual and social turmoil.
The idea of consciousness is notoriously obscure and difficult to analyze. It's not even clear what the word stands for: an entity, quality, process, or something else. New analysis, however, may shed some light on the subject by telling an evolutionary tale of our subconscious attraction and fascination with fractals. We may have evolved to be skilled decoders of the fractals that surround us in nature. Even how the brain houses folds within folds. This means that we are built to process fractals easily and efficiently, while at the same time being subconsciously drawn to the patterns.
Have you ever wondered why it is so difficult to change people's minds, and why many people get so sensitive when their perceptions are challenged? Sure, our competition-driven system is also a problem, as we have been groomed to seek the approval of our peers. Most of our conversations, therefore, tend to become a struggle to be heard. And even more so in our current environment, where only the experts determine whatever dogmatic consensus is. Unfortunately, their views often diverge. So what makes some views more efficient than others, would you ask? The surprising truth is that for a view to be more valuable, the latter needs to be able to consider the issues from several angles at once, to expand one's objectivity and sense of observation. Society offers many groupthings, but the latter weaken our ability to reason from our own perspective and awareness. It has also been observed that individuals make very different choices when they are not influenced by a collective and have a better understanding of their own environment.
If everything we do has a fractal nature, is it possible that consciousness itself has a fractal character as well? In the 1980s, a cardiologist at Harvard Medical School named Ari Goldberger discovered a peculiar pattern in our heartbeats. He found that the fluctuations in our heart rates that happen over seconds are statistically identical to those that happen over minutes and hours. This indicates that our heartbeats are also fractal, and the more fractal they are, the healthier.
Every thought you think, even right now at this very moment, is a cascade of electric impulses traveling through the fractal network in your brain. This is a simulation of dark matter in our universe. The visible section is 10 million light years across. Even on these scales, you can find the same fractal branching patterns as in the neurons of your brain.
As a matter of fact, we could spend all our time trying to figure out why miscommunication is a planetary issue, and we would find an infinite number of reasons without being able to finger point to the very deep root cause. While it is true that we all have our unique perceptions, though the latter are said subjective because we cannot see the bigger picture. And the more we know, the less we also know, because complexities are just exponential to knowledge. So how can we learn to see outside our own subjectivity and grow in awareness, you might ask? There is a self-evident explanation that we can find in the model of the fractal universe theory.
The big news coming out of science in the last 10 years, perhaps the last certain truth that science will secure before its transformation, and it's a very important one, it's that nature is self-similar across scale. This is something that couldn't have been said even 10 years ago. Nature is self-similar across scale. This is big news, big understanding. And what does it mean? Well, it means, I'm sure you all have pondered the similarity between the structure of an atom, a galaxy, and a solar system. And if you inquired about this, you were told it's coincidence. Well, P.W. Bridgman is the person who pointed out that a coincidence is what you have left over when you apply a bad theory. You see? So nature is self-similar across scales. That means that an atom is like a galaxy, is like a solar system, but it means more than that. It means that we can extrapolate toward cosmic processes by thinking about our own lives. So that's the first and simplest part of this suggestion for a reformation of science that I want to propose. First of all, that this fractal principle be more clearly enunciated and understood. Everybody is talking about fractals.
It is a controversial view, and the one that sparked an intense debate over a decade ago. Since then, astronomers have surveyed ever greater numbers of galaxies, taking larger and larger samples of the universe. Now, the biggest galaxy survey ever and brand new map of the universe dark matter are adding fuel to the fire. At stake is far more than the big galaxies cluster. A fractal universe could undermine cosmology's most basic assumptions, writes the new scientist. As much as the fractal universe could entirely rewrite our current representation of the latter. The same holds true about psychology, as much as patterns repeat in nature over and over to shape another big picture. Our minds are two fragments of the same big picture. We only can realize that when sharing information peacefully with an open mind and accept that each of us holds a piece of the same giant puzzle. It is the only way to remain united. When you really think about it, it is where the slogan "divide and conquer" comes from, the arcane of power. As long as we have to fight to be proven right, the divide will ever increase. Right now we are gearing up for more conflict on a scale unseen before, and it is time to put an end to any one-sided version of any story and focus on the world vision so that we can rise up and heal the planet. To summarize what you just heard, we now have outlined the cosmic equation behind the word empathy. It is a natural law. That's right, a natural law which the world peace depends upon. Just think about it. Isn't it amazing? As revolutionary as such information may sound, interestingly it is not new at all. Alchemists centuries ago already knew about this natural law and referred to it as the principle of correspondence. They knew that the universe was self-similar across scales. And as a matter of fact, this knowledge even goes much further back. It is very likely that the Sumerians also knew about it. Applying the fractal nature of nature to our thinking is not much of a stretch at all, and when we do so, everything falls into place. Once becoming aware that human perceptions, in fact, do not oppose but are complementary. When thinking, we tend to see through our own central focus points so that our perceptions can be validated. But every time we do this, we are not inclined to listen to other stances. And this is where the awareness of the fractal universe should bring us back to the reality. The reality that although our perceptions are unique, they represent the mere pixel of a cosmic puzzle, which we help shape continually while ever navigating new angles of perceptions and so on. In fact, holding to one's view is what causes our problems to go out of hand. But what if peace depended on individual awareness first? Do we really need a World War III to teach us that, while all it takes is to listen to one another with our hearts and minds? Of course, to be able to listen to one another more attentively would require system change, a system that no longer recognizes competition as a framework, in which Mother Earth is protected from greed with an economy based on sharing and recycling, in which everybody can access basic needs such as housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. The world becomes increasingly chaotic because the education system has always taught us to pay more attention to our paychecks than listening to one another and fighting for our rights, but we got lost into a giant illusion instead. Today, social inequalities are rampant across the world. The more we fight, the more we lose sight of our original purposes and create a social polarization turning against us. Society creates patterns instilling more divide and taking us further away from the core issue, the illusion of materialism. Each of us represents a pixel of the same whole, meaning that we will have to learn to agree to respectfully disagree until we begin to sort out data together. We can no longer afford such a divide caused by the pursuit of materialism. When you look closer, money is truly the carrot and the stick, and we have gravely endangered the ecosystem because of it. To save the planet and ourselves now, and in order to do so, we will have to embrace collaboration, a money-free society, and make sense of the fractal science of empathy. Thank you so much for watching and helping us spread the word far and wide.